This is exactly right.
What's up, Boulder?
I do it.
That's
only when
so
you do
embarrassing that we didn't turn our own fucking mics on.
I mean, we've never had to.
I mean,
so
Boulder! Yeah, reset it. We reset
we did it. Ever since the one time I walked out here and like, what's up? And pointed at the upper and there was nobody there. I'd now go, hey, just to make there was no.
Well, here's. Oh, they're here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they're fucking here.
Yeah.
And they're here for revenge. I actually told Georgia earlier, I was like, so just be aware, it's a much smaller room. So just know if they're quiet, doesn't mean we're doing bad. It's just smaller. And we step out and you may have popped my eardrum. I'm not sure. Yes.
The show won't go on if our eardrums are popped.
Or would it?
Or it would be really funny.
Or it would be
just see if we could
loud and quiet at the same time.
Last night we were at Denver and you guys are cooler. Pandering. Hey, this is my favorite murder of the podcast. That's Karen Kilgariff. I'm Georgia Hardstark. Who didn't know who was who? I didn't. I'm happy to learn.
You are so high on altitude sickness right now, aren't you?
Oh my God. I fucking hit that oxygen tank backstage so hard. And thank you to the Boulder Theater for coming up and like, heard someone needed oxygen. Come on down. I was like, oh my God.
They actually said, we heard someone was lightheaded. Yeah. Do they need oxygen? And she's like, yeah, I'll have some oxygen.
Oh my God. Because I woke up from a nap, which I'm usually like, nap, hey. And then I was just like, I don't know what I'm
We're going to turn into, it's going to be a Blue Velvet situation in like a month or just like, could we have our oxygen tanks on stage with us, please?
Yeah.
I know we're below sea level. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We do what we want.
We've been blaming everything that's happened on the, what's it called?
Altitude?
Altitude.
Yeah. It's fine. We're fine.
Since we've been here. Some real funny shit that is not because of altitude. My shoes hurt. Altitude.
Your shoes hurt. Everyone's gotten really comfortable with the farting situation, which is just
belching.
I mean, we used to be so modest, and it's just like their air has to come out of me, and we can't pretend anymore.
But I gotta say, it's a little bummed because like sometimes I like fart in a funny way to be like, hey, and like punctuate it, and I did it, and like nobody laughed, so I was like, did I offend them?
Sorry, wait a second. You like intro your fart? Like a hey and then a fart?
No, I say a dumb joke and then I'm like, just like, to be like.
You physically punctuate the joke?
Only if I have to fart.
You do like
I'm doing it on purpose.
You do like an unspoken pull my finger sometimes? How come I don't fucking know this?
I don't know. Maybe you don't. I've done it many times in front of you and Steven. Steven! Oh, Karen, Steven is at home right now. I figured you guys would know. We leave him at home.
He's not that great. It's mostly the hair. You guys don't fall for it.
We don't tell him he's coming and he's like waiting outside with a suitcase and then we just go pick him up. It's not like that.
Maybe next time, Steven.
Oops, we forgot. It's like Home Alone. Except he's crying the whole time. Not
Home
dead
Alone?
in the heart with like Macaulay Culkin is just like, I don't care.
Home Alone with like a mustache and cats. Which would be a better film, and you know it.
He has a pet cube, which basically means you can spy on who's ever taking care of your cat. And it was like a laser thing, and he's on it. And he like set up basically a hidden camera in my house to watch the
against
cats.
Himself.
Yeah,
he nanny cammed himself.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think he can can put it online, so maybe you can watch cats sleep at some point.
Is this a new business of yours where you're like, and for $9.95, you too can watch Stephen and my cat sit?
1 cent goes to the ASPCA. 1 cent of every, just 1 cent total.
Just 1 cent will go to every.
We had a vet come to the meet and greet yesterday. It was so lovely, and she gave us a ton of cool pet toys, which was so nice.
Yeah,
that you now have to jam into your suitcase. Yeah. They're the size of dogs.
I like that you're just bragging about presents now. Oh. You're like, hey, so we have some pretty big vet presents right now.
So right now, I would.
Well, if it's bragging time, then I would like to brag about my Bigfoot necklace, which I hear.
So it's funny on different levels.
Yeah. Go ahead and tell 3 of them.
Well, one is that it's Bigfoot, so you're like, I spotted Bigfoot. You know somebody are going to say that.
That's
like
funny.
Yeah. It's also funny because it's fucking awesome. And it's also funny because when you saw it, we both bent down and hit heads.
Forgot about that part. Oh fuck. I was like, when I do things like that where it's like, I kind of hate everything, so when I see something I love, I'm so overcome with like, how could this actually be happening? I go blind to everything else around me. So I was just like, a Bigfoot necklace? I'm like really led with my skull. Poor George, just like, oh, look, a tiny little, and then I headbutted
And
her.
I had glasses on, so they kind of like stabbed me in the top, but then it was like worth it. It's a great necklace. It was worth it.
I think it was worth it.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
And then, so it was at Buffalo Exchange because this like lovely girl said, you guys should go to Buffalo Exchange.
Yeah. Everyone loves Buffalo Exchange.
I think they work there. And so we went and we're walking in the front door, and this girl who's standing there looking like she works there yells at us,
shut the front door. So I'm like, because it was like, there's 5 of us all together, and I was second in, so I was like, whoops, okay. And I just
it's hot outside.
Kept walking, and
we're kind of like, fuck,
we're
you.
already in trouble in Buffalo Exchange. We just got.
And then as I'm walking by, I see she has a giant SSDGM necklace on. And I was like, no, she didn't mean it like that. Come back.
It was as if she had placed herself in the doorway of the first place we went in Denver to just like, shut the front door. It's very bizarre.
I think she did it. I think she's been stalking us because she was like, here, I have a present that I just bought you. Like she had bought me. So I think she knew we were coming.
I wouldn't accuse that on stage. I would.
But she
wouldn't float that theory.
She was lovely and talented.
How would she know where we were?
Because she told us go to Buffalo Exchange.
Yeah, but then what? She went there opening and was like, you know what? 10 a.m. I'll stand here in the doorway.
It worked
with my necklace on. You're right. It did work.
So I'm just saying,
anything is possible.
Yeah.
Thanks. That's my new song. Anything is possible. If you're wearing a Bigfoot necklace, that's in parentheses after that part.
And you expect the worst in people, like they're yelling at you to shut the front door.
Shut the front door, I just take as a direction.
They yell at you.
It's like, there's all the air conditioning in here. Shut the fucking door.
Yeah. You're letting the air conditioning out. We were going to talk about our prayer from last night.
We like to do a little prayer before we walk out on stage.
But before you applaud us, Christians, it's not. It's an abomination.
It's not. Look, we just try to access a being that we think might help us do this correctly for all of you who have waited so long and care so much and send us pictures of yourselves standing around all day and night waiting for the show to start.
Yeah.
So last night,
and we want to like connect because we've been like running around backstage and all these people are giving me oxygen and we're just like, okay, it's about you.
I'm getting the defibrillator. It's all crazy shit back there.
So we want it to be like, all right, you me, and then we just start saying words.
We go like, dear, and then we pick a deity that we enjoy,
or like a person we like,
or just
Oprah.
Somebody fun, Taylor Swift. And last night I said, dear Buddha. But there was that video was playing, and Georgia said,
I went, dear Groupon.
And then we were like, the prayer's over.
Yeah,
that's all we need to say. We're ready to do the show.
Yeah, that was it. Tonight was a lot more heartfelt.
Yeah. We both journaled and feeling pretty good.
I feel like suddenly I don't want to talk about the house we went to today.
Oh, are you kidding me? Why do you do that? It's all they want. It's why we're here.
We went to Mork and Mindy's house. No, that's not true.
I mean, it's where every murderino in the nation wants to be for a minute and a half.
Yeah. Drive by and everyone goes quiet, and we go. Well,
not about you.
Not better than us. We all stared in silence and went, I thought it'd be bigger. And
like as we pulled up, we're like looking around and we're kind of like, we thought they were richer than this.
Snobs. Immediate snobbery.
Does everyone around here own a plane? Because this did not seem to be Ramsey level richness at all.
They should sell the plane and get a bigger house.
That's right.
Then you're rich.
Or a landscaper.
Or don't be horrible. And then that's what I said. How do you like that?
We sat there for a second and then Georgia was taking pictures and I was like, I don't know why, but I feel like I need to look down. And then I started getting obsessed with all the people that were like out watering their lawns and stuff. Suddenly there was like a man watering his lawn and a mother playing with her child. And I was just like, oh no, this is so dark.
And then he sprayed us in the face through my roll down window and was like, get out of here, you kids! You creeps, what is wrong with you?
But it was worth it.
It was worth it.
Just, I mean, what was going on with that fucking family?
Dude. And then we found out they like cemented off the basement.
Yes, our Uber driver told us that.
Yeah. And we were just like,
the best.
Well, that's why you couldn't sell it, because the monsters who would buy it want the basement.
I just love that. I bet you like 89% of the Ubers you get into in Boulder, if you were like, hey, so what do you know about the Ramsey household? They'd be like, well, let's go through a list of things. My mom was the secretary at the, fuck.
Yeah, like total fuck.
Total fuck.
Well, on that note, should we sit down?
Oh, yeah.
This is a nice little setup. Yesterday, no, I don't want to throw the theater under the bus, but are you caressing the...
I just felt like I needed to have a tactile moment.
It's nice.
Also, my manicure matches my chair, so...
Oh. It's like you're meant to be.
Fate.
That's your soulmate.
It's called fate.
You want to go back? Okay. Yesterday at our show, they brought a high top table like from the smoking patio, is what Karen said. Just threw it on stage and that was it.
It was just one of those ones that like I've been like 3 pitchers of beer drunk on so many smoking patios, and then you're leaning on one of those like a wrought iron table that you can kind of stick your fingernails into the holes as you're like, what am I doing with my life?
But then they're the ones that are so wobbly, and you're the one who keeps sloshing beer out of the pitcher. Karen, stop leaning on the... And you're like, I can't stand up on my own.
Oh, fuck. Speaking of, really quickly back to Buffalo Exchange, where everything happened. While I was in among the gowns, somehow I have this thing where every once in a while, I don't know if it's a muscle spasm or if it's consciously I don't want myself to drink as much coffee as I drink, but every once in a while, like, I don't know if you do this, you just kind of squeeze your cup and it just flies out of your hand. I've done it so many times. I might have a light palsy, but anyway.
I walk around a large rack of dresses and just see Karen standing near just a pile of coffee.
It looked like a small pond. And it was honestly, time slowed down as it left my hand, and it was like a full rotation upside down, and the like coffee. I saw it all. Like there should have been Wagner playing underneath it. It was so fucking dramatic and horrifying among all these like gorgeous pieces. And I'm just like, I'm gonna throw some shit Starbucks around here if no one minds.
And I think I was like, run. I told you to run. No, these two lovely, like, twee hipsters came over and cleaned it up.
I walked over and turned myself in. I was just like, we have a major problem by dresses.
But don't worry, it didn't get on Karen's clothes. It only got on Adrian. Karen's a longtime friend Adrian's clothes.
That's right. I basically threw a cup of coffee on Adrian.
After you told her to change that morning, right?
No. Adrian and I... Here's what it is.
Okay.
Adrian and I, and this has happened all our lives. My sister Laura and I we look alike, like you can tell we're sisters, but we don't look alike. Laura's best friend Adrian, since she was 11 years old, and I look like sisters.
It's creepy how much for someone who's not sisters and who's best friends with your sister, and it's creepy.
I have not lived in like my hometown for a really long time, so anytime my sister and Adrian go to a party, people come up to Adrian and go, "Are you the comedian?" And then she's like, "No." She's very unfriendly. It's her brand. And last night in Denver, we were dressed almost exactly alike. Our hair is very similar. And she said so many people were walking up and would get like a foot away thinking that they had seen me before the show. And then they'd be like, "No," and then walk away. Imagine how that feels. To be on the receiving end of like abject disappointment 11 times before the big show starts. So,
and I was like, "Did you tell them you're the sister?" And they're like, "No." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm the only one who just needs constant attention and praise." Everyone else is like, "No, why would I tell them that?"
The two of them are like, "We hate attention and we refuse praise." So this morning when we got up, I got dressed, I took a shower, got dressed, came out of the bathroom.
Are you bragging that you took a shower?
What's that?
Are you bragging that you took a shower?
That's right. Totally bathed. Stem to stern. Thank you.
Wow.
Yes. But when I came out of the bathroom, Adrian and I had the same outfit on again. And she got so angry that we once again were dressed alike that she changed her shirt in a rage. And then an hour later, I threw a cup of coffee on it accidentally.
So was it accidental? Will be the question that just sticks in our mind.
I mean, it's just something to talk about at therapy next time.
That when you and Adrian go together.
That's right. I go to therapy with everyone I know. It's necessary. What's up? Do you want to talk about?
What else do you want to talk about?
I don't know. I want to talk about
Casa Bonita.
I'd like to talk about junior high.
Oh man, what a time it was!
Fuck.
We have some slides. Actually. Look what Steven made. Steven made our slides look legit. He's earning his keep.
That was for you, Steven. He listens to all these recordings at home after the fact.
Steven, cut that out.
Cut all this out.
Cut the compliment out.
The compliment goes, cheering for you goes, and we're back in.
Who's first tonight?
You're first.
Shall we get into the shit? Let's take the necessary moment of you turning to your friend that you brought who doesn't know anything about the murder, because your friend who was incest got sick, and you're like, "Danny, will you go with me, please? I don't want to go alone. I have anxiety." And they're like, "I'll go. What is it?" "It's just a cool comedy show." Now you can let them know that here's when the horror starts.
Yeah.
And we are not bad people.
We're good people talking about bad things.
Yeah.
Ready?
And it's your town, so it's your fault. Thank you. All right, Boulder. You guys I want to say, I was impressed and then got stressed out because you don't have a ton.
You have like the ultimate.
big one.
You have kind of the queen.
Queen, which we can't do, obviously.
We did it.
Yeah, and then, all right, but you also have a guy named John Agrew. I think I'm saying that right. Okay. So I got a lot of this from a dude named Kurt Mitchell from Denver Post's cold case section. What's funny?
I was just thinking that maybe he's our Uber driver. This dude, Kurt Mitchell, that drove us here.
I wrote this on the way over because he wrote this whole thing, and he was contacted by someone in the case to like help solve it. It's just pretty fucking. I want someone to please do that for us, but also solve it yourself, and then just say that we did it. All right. Can I keep stalling?
No, you have to jump in.
Okay, on July 1st, 1982, two fishermen who were looking for a good spot to fish in Boulder Canyon discovered, not a mannequin, the decaying body of a young woman who was covered only by a towel. She had 11 knife wounds in her chest and 2 in her neck. Her backpack was nearby, and police were able to identify her based on that as Susie Becker. Susie is her nickname. She's 20 years old. Susie was last seen on the morning of June 20th, 1982. So like a little less than a month before. She was raised Catholic. She liked to listen to
music.
Yeah, but music. Let's call it.
What you got?
It's Rastafarian, so I'm not going to be able to pronounce that.
Reggae?
No, Rastafarian I can pronounce. It's the word Naya Bingi.
If
music.
anyone can do it, it's you guys, Boulder.
Yeah. I think she was kind of like a hippie, free-spirity. Like we have a photo of her. Can you put up the photo of her, please? There you go. Yeah, she was like a sweet little baby angel, hippie, free spirit. Okay, so I think
I take it back down now.
Let's not bum everyone up too much.
Let's not.
Then, how about let's bum everyone out now. Then, a week after Susie's body was discovered, a second body was found nearby, 94-year-old Orma Smith. And you can put her picture up, a retired librarian who went missing days earlier. Look at her. That's everyone's grandma from the 70s. A retired librarian, she had gone missing days earlier, was discovered face down in a stream in Big Elk Meadows near SD Park. Near SD Park.
Oh, is that it? Is that it? One big sound?
Estes Park.
What are you doing? Just keep going.
Thank you. On July... What?
Nothing.
What? There's a lot of S's. On July 9th, 1982. So 2 bodies in like 8 days, if I can do the math. Okay, investigators got a break in the case on July 15th, 1982, when a 50-year-old man named John Agru, it says it's Agru. Agru.
They don't know.
I know. And I usually don't listen, so. This guy, John, threatened a 26-year-old University of Colorado student with a knife, but she had escaped, and he was caught minutes later. So I think, like, she was like, fuck you, and, like, neighbors must have been like, let's get him, I'm guessing. He was caught minutes later and arrested. John was on parole. He had moved to Colorado in 1982 after getting out of prison. In 1966, John had been convicted of fatally stabbing his 14-year-old sister-in-law, Susan Marino. Sounds like a dick. He had dumped his sister-in-law's body in a stream in Illinois and had been sentenced to prison for a term of 20 to 50 years. Guess how many he got?
2.
You're all wrong. But he was released on good behavior after 16 years. Because he was a good guy in prison. John turned out to be Orma, the 94-year-old librarian's neighbor and a close acquaintance of hers. She was a super friendly woman, and she would often let John come in and use her phone to make calls. And he drove her around town on errands. Like they were buds. He obviously became the main subject, and when they learned also that he would go hiking in Boulder Canyon, where the bodies were found. So John refused to speak to authorities, and prosecutors determined there wasn't enough evidence to file charges against him in either Susie or Orma's murders. But the attempted kidnapping charges were filed in the case of the co-ed who had escaped, and he was convicted of attempted abduction. He remained in prison until 1989. And then 21 years later, 21? Yeah. John's niece, Cora Amy, who lives in Joliet, Illinois.
Joliet,
Illinois, became terrified of her uncle because he had told her that he had killed an old woman in Colorado.
Just chatting.
I bet they were drunk, right?
Wait, how old was she? Were they the?
She was grown up, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she got terrified of him because he said this, and he seemed to regret telling her that. Yeah, the morning after. You know, the morning after, like, oh, what did I say to John? Did I tell Megan she should get her lip waxed? Probably. No one to tell people.
Or it was like the moment after where he's like, I killed this old woman. Ooh. Dang it.
So he started to just like stand outside her apartment at all hours of the night and threaten her. So she got a restraining order against him. And she said he had said to her, you know how to kill someone and get away with it? Just become their friend. And then anything police get, they can't use against you because you're their friend and it was okay for you to be there. It's like you were...
It's faulty logic.
Yeah. Become their friend.
He's confusing a couple rules there.
Or a couple moral fucking basics.
Yeah.
Like, don't kill your friends.
Yeah. What did he watch growing up? Because...
Just fucking...
Just Barney. Just constant Barney.
Yeah, a lot. So, she called crime reporter Kirk Mitchell, the dude whose article I got this from, of the Denver Post, and she asked if he would be interested in writing a cold case blog about the unsolved murder case of her aunt. So she gave him all this information about him and how he had killed his sister-in-law all these years ago, and kind of was like, here's all this information. Can you believe this person is not in prison? Clearly he did these things. And it was 21 years later. So because of this, they reopened the case. And she called the Larimer County Sheriff's Office. Larimer.
It's obviously Larimer.
Larimer. What's nice about having a smaller crowd is that you can hear what they're screaming at you. Which I appreciate because now I actually fix these. I mean that.
We should have done a dry run-through.
Yeah.
With pronunciations only.
Why? Mm-hmm. Then we wouldn't be this podcast anymore. She told investigators about her uncle's murder confession, and they had always thought he was a subject in all these other crimes, so they reopened the investigation. Awesome. Way to go, Kurt Mitchell. I feel like he's kind of a hero in this, you know? Fuck yeah. Okay. Investigators learned that John had several purses and personal items that had belonged to him, to women, but his family had already thrown all the items away. So, I think they were just like, he went to prison, let's get rid of all this.
Well, let's get rid of his purses, yeah. They were just like...
Yeah. Everyone gets rid of people's purses when they go to prison.
He won't use them when he gets out, they'll be out of style.
Yeah.
They're thinking to themselves.
Totally. Okay, so DNA extracted from cigarettes that had been picked up near Smith's body, thank God they fucking saved them, definitively connected John to her death. But before authorities had a viable case... He died of an overdose of medications.
What kind of medication?
Medications.
just some medication.
Pick them. An oxygen tank.
Oh no! Fuck!
I did an oxygen tank and heroin. Oh my God, I'm screwed.
Why would you combine like that? It doesn't make sense.
And it was ruled an accidental death. So... Larimer County authorities officially closed Smith's case, though, the sweet angel, in 2010. But they're reviewing murders committed in Illinois in the 50s and 60s before John Agrew was convicted of murder, and they're looking at murders in Colorado between January of 82 until he was arrested in August of 82, as well as murders near Joliet, Illinois, from the time he was released from prison in 89. Becker's murder public announcement was made that the case was closed. So they had a suspect. He did it, but he never got brought to justice. And that's a bummer, but at least he's dead. And that was John Agrew.
He self-medicated himself off this planet.
Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah. Fuck, that's crazy.
Yeah,
so they think he did other murders before?
He had to have.
Yeah.
That's him.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, hello. That's Steven, like 100. I'm sorry. If you part that hair and grow it out on one side and put some nice curls into it and put a cat in his hands, and it's over.
Constantly be smiling and constantly be nice
and
to
be
people.
So nice and never touch knives and not want to harm one thing.
Yeah, that's him.
Dead match.
Yeah, so if anyone was I feel like they just need to go back and look at his phone book and be like, these were his friends. Let's call them and see if they're still alive.
Yeah, just start on the phone tree.
Totally.
And you're like, hey, here's the thing. Did that guy ever come at you with a knife or anything? Well,
I love going first because now I can just chill.
I know, right? Here's my thing. Of all the stories that I looked up, I picked one that actually took place in Denver because it's a story that has all the things that I love, and this is my podcast. So I'd like to tell you all a story you probably know because it didn't happen too far away.
36 minutes, right?
It's the Spider-Man of Denver.
Oh, I don't know this one.
Yeah. I want to make a joke about the guy that starred in Spider-Man, but there's been so many that everyone would be like, that's not real Spider-Man. Toby, what's his name? All right. Denver, 1941. Phil Peters, a 73-year-old railroad auditor, lives in a modest home at 3335 West Moncrief Place with his wife in Denver, Colorado. On October 3rd, she breaks her hip and is hospitalized. So since Phil is going to be home alone, his very lovely, nice neighbor tells him that while she's in the hospital, he can come over for dinner at her house every night.
No.
So he does it. He comes over to her house every night for 2 weeks until...
Wow. And she's like, I just don't know how much more I can talk to him about the weather.
I don't like trains that much.
Yeah.
So,
Man.
So the night of October 17th, Phil doesn't show up for dinner and she gets really worried. Because he's 73.
Oh.
And so she goes over to the house to check if he's okay. And all the lights are out and the front door's locked. And when she knocks, he doesn't come to the door. And that makes her more worried because she just doesn't think he has anywhere else to go. So she gets a bunch of neighbors together and says, I'm worried about Phil. I'm afraid he fell down inside the house or something. I just made that up. Let's write the scene. Phil is such a good friend and he loves my cooking, she said to her neighbors.
Yeah, she really, just the reality is she just needed to borrow some milk.
Yeah.
So she was like, guys, gather around. I need to get into Phil's house so I can get some milk.
Yeah. I'm trying to make a pie and Phil owes me big time.
Yeah.
He's eating beef stroganoff at my house every fucking night for 2 weeks.
Hot dish.
Okay, so the neighbors go all around the house. They split up, in my mind, and they go all around the house.
I love this.
Checking doors and windows.
Yeah.
They're all locked. This house is locked up tight. They can't get in. So a girl finds a loose window screen and pulls it open. They figure out a way to jimmy the window up. They basically break into the house. She climbs into the window. They wait, beat, 4, 5. Also made up. They wait.
Screaming.
They hear screaming. It turns out that she came upon the murdered body of Phil Peters. He was half dressed. He was horribly beaten. He had more than 12 wounds in his skull.
Oh, I feel so bad that I was like, okay, he's going to come over for a hot dish and kill her. Like, that's what I thought was going to happen.
You thought Phil was the man.
That's why I was like, don't come over. What is she going to talk about? Fucking weather until he murders her? Now I feel really bad.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Phil.
It's okay. I just got a message from Phil. He says it's fine. It actually used to happen to him a lot. Okay. He was really creepy. The police find his watch and cash on the dresser, so they rule out robbery as the motive. But they also realize and are told and check and see that this house is locked up tight, including the chain being across the front door, which means that there is a chance that the perpetrator is still in the house.
No.
Now, in my movie version of this, they all realize it at the same time. The neighbors and the cops, they're in a circle. And they're like, well, if that... right?
And the cops are like, someone go in there and see. Someone should go in there. Here's my gun.
The cops, like, to the girl that went through the window, honey, go upstairs.
Yeah.
See if there's a man hiding.
Pass you our nightstick.
Yeah. So the cops start searching the house, and they scour it. They look every single place for somebody that could have just murdered Phil Peters that's hiding in the house. How creepy would that be?
No.
But they can't find anything. The whole place is emptied. No one is in there. The only thing that they find that's even like of interest is like a trapdoor for an attic, but it's so small that there's no way a person can get up there. So they're like, all right, well, we don't know what happened.
No, let's not bother that.
Well, I mean, whatever. So, they're baffled and the case comes to a standstill. Now, meanwhile, Mrs. Peters, whose name I never learned, because who gives a shit at what the wife's name is?
She's joking.
It's not what I'm saying. I literally checked like 7 articles and she was always Mrs. Peters.
Yeah.
It was 1940. Let's all be grateful that we live in 2017.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, Mrs. Peters has been in the hospital with a broken hip.
Hey, honey, we have
Her husband gets murdered. Yeah. A nurse is like, I have some news. Now open your mouth and put a pill in it. Just take this pill.
We don't know what your name is, but open your mouth and take this pill. Nobody knew what her name was. That's why they didn't.
Mrs. Peters?
Yeah. Her name was Mrs.
They were like, Judy?
Judy.
No, it's not
Ethel?
Judy.
Sounds right.
So she has to go home. Now, in the amount of time between the murder and Mrs. Peters still being in the hospital, the neighborhood starts to get kind of freaked out.
Yeah.
Because neighbors start hearing noises in the house. And then the cops come and they check the whole house and there's nothing there.
Let's also forget about that thing again in the ceiling. Goodbye.
Oh, good call. Good call. Bookmark that one.
Yeah.
Then there's a group of kids walking by one morning, one snowing morning. Lies.
Snowing now.
Lies. And they look up and they see a ghoulish face looking out the window at them.
No. Don't ever look up. Children should never look up.
Look down always. So they, again, call the police. The police go in, search the entire house, nobody's there. So then basically the neighborhood starts talking that the Peters house is haunted by Phil Peters, who got murdered inside the house. He's still in there.
That's gotta be it. His body's, you mean that.
It was winter.
You mean the ghost. Got it.
The cops are like, we're just gonna leave him here for a while. Figure some shit out. So by the time Mrs. Peters returns, Gladys Peters returns to the home.
Gladys Peters, I didn't.
That has a nice flow to it, Gladys Peters.
I think that's it.
By the time she gets back, she knows that the whole neighborhood thinks her house is haunted. But so she stays there. I actually think the real thing that happened is she was there, and in this one article I read, it said, while she was in the house, she was startled and she fell and re-broke her leg.
Oh, honey.
Yeah, fucking Gladys. She's had it hard.
Oh, man.
But I wanted, like, the startled thing. I was just like, startled by what? A face in the window?
Yeah.
So,
well, they probably shouldn't have said, hey, there's a ghost of your husband in the house. See you later. Go ahead and in there.
Then every single thing she does, she's like, whoa! She's like fucking Vera
Don't
from
scare
Alice.
the shit out of an old woman with a fucking broken hip.
Yeah.
How about?
Back then, they didn't care. They were like, we don't care what your name is, and we don't care about your hip at all. So she hires a nurse to stay with her, and the two of them start hearing noises.
The nurse is like, no.
The nurse is like, I mean, it sounds, what's that? So at night, they both are hearing, the nurse thinks there's something in the walls. They're hearing something in the walls. And it's, at first they think, it's like what everyone says when you hear noises, the house is settling.
No.
Bullshit.
I'm like, it's 400 rats. That's the first thing I think. Or it's bees.
It's so many bees living inside your home.
Or it's a murderer, is what everyone in this audience would think.
Right.
And I bet they're correct.
I mean, we'll see.
We'll see.
Page 2. So... sorry, I had to find my spot. Okay, fuck, here we go. The nurse gets up one night because she hears a noise.
Stay in bed.
She walks out of her room and down, and she sees on the back stairs a thin, filthy wretch, and when she came upon it, it chattered its teeth at her.
How do you even do
all
that?
Caps. Can you see that? All caps. It chattered its teeth at her.
How do you do that?
Horrible. It's nice with your teeth because you have nice teeth. But I have good ghost teeth. They're all short and scary.
Picture them like they're all pointed. You
Yes.
like file them down.
Shaved down.
Oh.
Okay. It's for the movie.
Yeah.
It's for the movie. Okay, so I wrote this. And right after letting the police know what she saw that night, she pieced out as far as she was humanly possible. So... She was like, no, thank you so much. She left, and Mrs. Peters, Maureen Peters, is by herself. So a kindly neighbor, perhaps the same one making dinner for every fucking buddy, comes over and she's like, I'll stay with you.
No, take her out of the home and take her to your house.
They're like, it's like every haunted house movie where it's like, you know what, we're gonna make this work. They always do that.
Go to a hotel.
They're like, I know we saw a child with like all black eyes trying to give us a message, but let's make it work.
Yeah, but maybe I won't. Maybe I won't see that.
Yeah.
Like, wheel her over in her gurney to your house where you like to cook and sleep there, maybe.
Take her against her will in her gurney where she's strapped down.
Yeah. Feed her.
Mrs. Peters.
Nice hot dish.
Not an individual,
No.
but a wife only.
Right. I don't know that everyone's just like, I'll come. No.
Beady boo. Okay, so
Sleepover.
here's the nice neighbor and Mrs. Peters, like, come on, those aren't real. Several nights later, the neighbor hears something rattling around in the kitchen.
Like, are you surprised? Is she surprised at this point?
Well, no, in fact, she is quite brave because she gets up and she runs to the kitchen without turning on any lights. Yeah.
Please tell me she has 4 knives in her hand. Like, that's the only way I'd be impressed by that. If she's just like...
She has scissor hands.
She slept with knives taped to her hands. Right?
It was the only thing that was going to make a difference.
Like, hope she didn't have an itch on her face at any point.
When she gets to the kitchen, she sees a ghost standing at the foot of the stairs.
There's no
She
such
said it was a filthy wraith-like thing that vanished when she screamed.
Vanished because he, like, ran to the side. They don't...
Just a nice sidestep.
Yeah. She said vanished, but yeah, he just sidestepped.
He crab walked out of there.
Yeah.
And then I wrote, long story short, Mrs. Peters went to live with her son in western Colorado.
Finally.
So that was it. That last one was it. They gave up. They're like, fuck this noise all over the place.
I could have told him that from the beginning. From the point where you find a dead body in a house, don't sleep there anymore.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
But I think back then it was like you buy your house and you pay off your mortgage and then you're retired. And then you and your husband that used to work at the railroad yard or whatever.
Who's not dead, stay there. The one... Okay, go ahead.
I'm just trying to talk you through it.
Sorry, I'm mad.
No, I mean...
I'm clearly really
I just
angry.
wanted you to see the logic of staying in a house where multiple times people have spotted ghosts and heard terrible things.
That keep happening.
And where terrible things happen.
So stay living there. I guess I've only lived in like apartments in my life, so I don't get like having an attachment to a house in any way.
Like, change it.
Great.
Okay. We don't know why people make the decisions they make, but this is what happened. So finally, now the house is just sitting empty.
Okay.
But because of the rumors of the paranormal, or something going on there, the cops stake the house out every once in a while.
Ooh.
So one night on July 30th, 1942.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
Right?
A stakeout in the 40s.
Stakeout in the 40s, imagine the coats and the smoking.
The sunflower seed piling up
Ding. Fucking big old, a huge car. A car that's 3 times the size of any car now.
a Slurpee size of like popcorn thing size of hot black coffee.
Yes. But it's got popcorn in it.
Yeah. And
That's how they used to do it.
Coffee. At Starbucks. Can I have a grande black popcorn coffee?
Extra butter.
Extra butter. That's going to be a thing.
Okay, so as they're sitting there watching the house, the mailman comes walking up the street. Light of day, normal day on July 30th, 1942. And as the mailman walks up,
Oh, God.
one of the cops who's still looking at the house, he doesn't give a shit about the mailman. He's still looking at the house. He sees the curtains pop open and a face look out. And right as it happens, he nudges the other cop, and the other cop turns to look as the curtains close. So they're both like, it's fucking on. Like Donkey Kong, they get out of the cop car.
At what point does that first cop change the pants that he peed in?
All I can picture is the face of that face that comes up really fast and goes away in The Exorcist. That's all I'm seeing when I think about this face. Really fast. So,
but this time with like flowered curtains, lace flower curtains.
40s curtains.
Right.
Maybe even a paisley.
Paisley print.
Or just a faded linen. In the film now, the 2 cops get out and run to the house while Katrina and the Waves Walking on Sunshine plays. Because it's my film. And they whistle their cop whistles for assistance, which is precious. And then...
Can you do it?
What?
Can you whistle? I want to hear it.
Well, they have whistles, but...
Oh, they have whistle. Thank you, I get it.
No.
I asked her, and I can't whistle.
Someone in the audience is like, wait, I can whistle! They have a whistle.
I get it. I get it now.
Maybe they had whistles too. They're like, this is from 1942, asshole.
I bought it on eBay. It's the one from the murder.
They go into the house, immediately hit with the wall of odor. It has like an animal smell inside the house. A supposedly empty house for 3 months. They head upstairs and they start searching. And as they're, walking down the hallway, scared, maybe they're new, one's old, one's young.
He's about to have a baby, like his mom said, a baby.
He's about to have a baby. This one's about to retire.
Right.
He's too old for this shit. You've seen it. You love it. As they pass a doorway, one of them, I like to think it's the one who didn't see the face, so it's even.
Oh, yeah.
One of them passes the doorway, sees a closet door shut. So he goes in, he opens the closet door, and he looks up, and there's that trap door open with some dirty, dirty feet hanging out of it. Right? The good stuff.
We told them to open that door, remember?
Told them and they didn't listen.
Oh my God, Karen,
years.
I forgive you for not doing, not that it matters. But they forgive you for not doing a Boulder.
Think so?
Yeah.
Okay, so this cop jumps up and tries to catch a foot.
Don't touch it. Ew.
Dirty, 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 dirty feet. He instead catches a pant leg and it tears off in his hand and it's like super tattered. It's shitty.
Disintegrates. Like tired, shitty pants.
I mean, get out of here with your shitty pants.
That's the new look, the new style. Tired pants.
Yeah. He jumps up again. Both of his hands catch onto one of those feet and he fucking yanks it down out of the attic. I know. It feels like a victory.
Uh-oh. That means it's not.
And down comes...
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
A filthy,
lizard.
Emaciated man in very tattered clothing named Theodore Comies, who immediately passes out onto the floor.
Bullshit. That's like playing dead.
Oh, you think he's faking it?
Yeah.
Well, we could play with that in the film.
Yeah?
Where you're not sure if he's really lost consciousness.
He's lying there and he keeps opening one eye.
He's like a little kid pretending to sleep where his eyes are moving around too much under his lids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. I like this.
Someone write, Steven, are you writing down our script?
Okay, so this man is in his mid-60s. He's 5'10" and he weighs 137 pounds.
Whoa.
Quite thin.
Yeah.
So the whole of this trapdoor, they say, was a little bit less than 3 times the size of a cigar box. So it's like dink, 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 however you would imagine. So
This-ish.
no, I think like cigar box like that.
A little bigger. Yeah. Well, then you go,
Right?
Then you have to go,
Don't go wide. They're not end to end.
Are they? Oh.
It's a square.
You're right. I get it.
Here's the thing. It's very small.
Listen. I don't know math.
I don't know cigars.
I don't know cigars. Those are my 2 only things I don't know.
Shit, sorry. I should have briefed you. It's a fucking tiny hole.
Teeny tiny.
So they go up. They go up and they're like, they can't even get up into the attic. The hole is so small because they're normal sized men.
Do we have any pictures yet? Do we have pictures?
Oh, maybe. Could I throw a picture up? Let's see what happens.
Is that him?
There he is, all cleaned up. That's the cleaned up. That's the ghost.
He looks like a bummer.
He's just really dry and sarcastic.
Yeah. Oh,
he's in a band.
Real angry eyes. He actually looks like what Mimi looks like most of the time, just grumpy as fuck.
Aww, Mimi.
Get him away from me.
Okay, so they look up into this attic. It's got a single light bulb hanging from a wire. He's got a bed that's made of an ironing board. Okay, masochist.
Oh, no, masochist.
He's got like a little bedding. He's got a bunch of torn up magazines everywhere. It just said magazines in my movie. Those are straight up XXX porn magazines. He's not looking through like Boy's Life or whatever.
Or what's one of the like 1940s like movie star? Well, it's not that.
You will call it movie star because we won't be able to clear anything else for the movie.
Totally.
Right?
Totally.
Okay. And it smells so bad.
Oh God, he's been shitting in there, hasn't he?
Because he's been shitting and pissing up there.
There's a toilet downstairs.
But the flush.
Oh.
Okay. So
Did you say what the flush?
No.
Of course you didn't. Why would you say that?
What the flush? No, I said
that's a me, not a you.
Okay, so they have to take him to the hospital because he is so thin, they think he's going to die. When he's released from the hospital, he's brought into the police station for questioning. So he tells them the story. As a child, he suffered from such bad health that doctors told his parents he wouldn't live to see his 18th birthday.
And for some reason, they told him that?
Yeah, they're like, don't get attached to anything.
Don't tell your kids that. They're going to die.
They're like, don't sweat the small stuff. And we really mean that. Like, really, or the big stuff. So try not to sweat. It's bad for you. So he quits school, which I would too. Somehow he learns to play the mandolin, which is actually kind of perfect.
That's great.
He is in the Mandolin Club in Denver, which I'm sure a lot of you are in also. And that's how he met Phil Peters 30 years prior.
Whoa.
Yeah. So he was a very sickly kind of young man that didn't do that much and, had a hard time breathing. It was like,
oh, baby.
So.
Except he's a murderer.
That's your response.
He's a murderer.
Your response is, oh, baby, and mine's, I rolled my eyes. He can't breathe or something.
Calm down.
Calm down with your sickness. When he got older, he at one point worked in ad sales. He was also a bookkeeper at the Denver Brass Works.
Axe sales?
Yeah,
ad sales.
Axe body spray sales. They invented it in 1939.
Ad sales, you said.
Correct? It just smelled like cigarettes back then. Advertisement sales. But his poor health prevented him from ever establishing a career, and so he basically spent most of his adult life as a transient. So by the fall of 1941, 30 years later, he had been out on the road traveling around, and he had been doing it for so long and just getting sicker and sicker because he was spending winters outdoors.
Do we know what he had?
Just shitty lungs. In my movie, the doctor will flip open a thing and be like, "We're so sorry, Theodore. You've got a case of shit lung." And then he'll cry.
Your lungs that technically just fucking suck.
Yeah. I mean, there's no upside.
No cure.
So he was back in the Denver area around October of 1941, and he knew he could not survive another winter outdoors. So he thought, oh, maybe if I go to Phil Peters' house, he will help me out. But when he got to the house, nobody was home and the front door was open.
Because he was with Mildred in the hospital.
That's right.
You have a bug flying on you.
What? Is it
the
my
ghost
guardian
of
angel?
Mildred and
Wait, I have some wishes. So he opens the door and he's like, I'm just going to steal some food because I'm fucking starving.
Yeah.
I'm 5'10" and I weigh 137.
Yeah.
So
that's like what I wear. Nope, that's what I weigh.
Oxygen.
But I'm 5 shorter than that.
You're 5 shorter.
So that would be real thin.
It would be tough.
Yeah.
But you could go into attics whenever you wanted.
That's true.
Upside. So he said he went in, he stole some food, and then he realized this was this opportunity. So he started looking around the house, and he saw that trap door, and he was like, this could be the way that I don't have to be outdoors for the rest of this winter.
Or you could have waited for Phil to get home and then like, hey, buddy, I really need a place to stay.
Yeah, you could. But maybe Phil was just like half a dick.
Yeah.
Maybe Phil was just like, he was like kind, but he would hold it over you. So he'd be like, sure, you can stay and have a banana.
And then you need
Then it just stares.
Yeah. Just stares.
Okay, we won't put it in the movie. Fuck. The people have spoken. Okay.
Who plays Phil?
Good. I love this.
Let's work with this one for a minute.
I mean, off the cuff, I wanted to say Bill Pullman.
Is he? But he's older. Isn't he an older man?
You think he's older than Bill Pullman?
No, I think Phil's in his 70s.
Right. So let's go
73,
ahead.
right? He was 73.
We're doing Tommy Lee Jones as Phil.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Right?
Okay, all right.
It's real. It's gritty. And I just like him. One time in LA, we were driving up, I think it was...
You're looking at me like I'm going to just start naming streets.
Well, I mean, that would be the fun thing.
Cahuenga. Los Feliz. What area?
It was
Santa Monica.
I think it was Doheny, where the Four Seasons is.
Yeah. Yes.
And we're driving up it, and there's a little bit of traffic, and the Four Seasons Hotel, which is very fancy, as you well know, is right there, where lots of celebrities go to just hang out. And as we were stopped in traffic, I looked up, and there's a black Mercedes, and the window rolls down, and it's fucking Tommy Lee Jones, and I went like this. And he was like, he gave me the old fucking sailor salute.
That's a good one. And even in LA, you guys think we see, like, we don't see a lot of good ones.
No.
There's very few.
Few good ones.
Yeah.
You'll see some people from the CW. They're beautiful. They're very beautiful.
Yeah.
And similar. But a TLJ, you're not going to get that every day. It was fucking magic.
I saw Simon Cowell.
What?
But out the window of the car I was in the passenger side seat, and I saw him. He pulled up next to us with his window rolled down, but unfortunately I didn't see him before I had belched loudly out the car window right as fucking Simon Cowell pulls up in his, like, whatever, like a car that I don't know, Maserati. What do people drive that are...
Yeah, everybody drives Maseratis.
That's a Corvette. I don't fucking know.
Did he love it?
I just hid.
He was like, it's a little pitchy.
Yeah, he ignored me.
Well, then I just will say...
You're juicy.
We'll just keep doing this?
Yeah.
One time on Laurel Canyon, I'm up trying to take a left onto Ventura, and it's where all the studios are. It's literally called Studio City. And it's very nerve-wracking to make left-hand turns in Los Angeles. And I just moved there like probably 2 years before. It's very scary. You have to attack the intersection. You have to really take your space.
Everyone's fucking pissed at you behind you.
You can't win. You always do it wrong. It's bad.
Yeah.
So I'm out there really trying to take my place in the world of this intersection.
Yeah.
Well, who comes up in a light blue Jag but Mr. Clint Eastwood?
Karen, you get all the hot, gruff older ones.
I get those fucking manly men. And he was, because the sun was shining in his eyes, so he was like...
Oh.
He looked like he was doing a Clint Eastwood impression the whole time. It was fucking so rad. It was so rad.
Billy Bob Thornton.
Okay.
Yes. Another gruff fucking... I'm just saying his name. No, I saw him once. What if I was
Did you see him?
Yeah, I walked right into him. We were at a book. Remember when there was a Borders on La Cienega? You guys remember? I was walking around the corner, right into someone. And I'm so sorry, ma'am.
Oh, he called you ma'am.
He was so polite. And then Angelina just gives me the stink eye when she walks by.
They were in Borders?
Yeah. Like, you tried to walk into my husband.
Yeah, you did, girl.
I did not.
Did you?
I did not. He wears a vial of your blood around his neck. That's disgusting.
What? That goes against everything they were doing at that period of time.
Borders? Yeah, they wanted a book on how to keep your marriage sane.
Or they're just getting one of those map books about hiking. Just don't tell anyone we bought this. We're into nature.
Lastly, most beautiful woman I've ever fucking seen in person in my life. I mean, next level. Don't clap. Next level. Just that was all I took away from that. Anyways, where were we?
Oh, Angelina Jolie.
Yes.
I thought you were building up to who that person was.
Oh, no. Yeah,
who could it be?
She was so beautiful. Also 5'3" though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. God.
I thought she was tall.
I know, they make it seem that way, but she's not.
They're all very small.
They're tiny human beings.
When you go there, if you run into a celebrity, you go to Los Angeles, you run into a celebrity, you will think they're in grammar school at first. It'll Alyssa Milano, same deal. She was the first celebrity I saw in LA.
Teeny
and
tiny.
It immediately made me want to quit what I was doing. Because I was just you have to be 4'8".
Yeah.
And
have a
roughly
giant head.
67 pounds. Yeah.
That's the only reason we're not famous, you guys.
I have a huge head. And we're persisting. All right. Back to the film that everyone's been talking about at Sundance. Okay, so when he's being interviewed by the cops, he basically says he never meant to harm Phil, but once he was in there, his thing was, altogether he was up in that attic for 9 months, living inside those people's house.
Oh my God.
For 9 months. And at first he would just stay really, really still. And if he heard, anybody downstairs, he would just freeze and stay still all day. But, when it was still Phil in the house, after a little while, he got bored and he said he would sneak down At first, he would sneak down at night and eat scraps. He would eat out of the garbage. He would stick his finger in the jelly jar and eat it. Go back upstairs.
Also, who eats jelly raw? Like,
I mean,
plain?
it was the 40s, though.
It's true.
We'll establish that at the beginning that everybody eats jelly all the time.
Right.
They fucking love it.
Right.
Preserves.
But with a spoon.
Yeah. That's dessert at that lady's house. Okay, everyone gets a spoonful of jelly. And off to bed.
Can I play the lady who cooks for him?
Of course.
Thank you.
The lady that cooks dinner?
Yeah.
100%. But you have to read for it. Okay.
Oh, well, then I'm
No,
not
that's
getting
how it is down there. It's show business.
Yeah.
Look, I love you. I want you to be part of it. But the execs are, I mean, it
was my choice.
There's so many, the line producer has to see the performer.
Yeah.
Okay. Guys, let's focus.
Not fair. Is everyone dying right now? No, we're good.
Okay.
No, they're not.
Okay, so, but then he gets bored, right? So then what he does is he starts sneaking down when Phil is still in the house and shadowing him as he walks around the house.
Everything up until then was like, oh, okay, that sucks. But now I'm like, oh, you're fucking crazy.
Yes, because he said, the quote is that he didn't want to hurt him. And shit, I'm not going to be able to find it because I've gone so far into my show business fantasy that I have no idea where I am in this document.
Make up a line.
Oh, that's right. This is my movie.
You said what the fuck you want.
He basically said, there it is.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah. No, I'm just reading to myself now. What a great story this is. God, this is fucking crazy.
Sometimes you should just stop reading to the audience.
He said, then I got Boulder and I used to shadow him from room to room. It was sort of a game, gave me a thrill. It was the first time in my life I'd ever had anyone at my mercy.
Oh.
That's not a game.
It's also not at your mercy because he's choosing to watch fucking Ed Sullivan or whatever. You're not
he's living his life. He doesn't know you're there.
You're not, yeah.
That's so Theodore. But then here's the rest of that quote. I didn't want to hurt him. It was miserable hot in the summer and my feet froze dead in the winter in that attic, but it was all part of the price I was willing to pay. I guess I can't tell you why I stuck it out. I guess because I was in a world all my own. I used to go down and look out the window and watch the postman go by. Nobody's written to me in 25 years. Whenever I saw people on the street, I hated them and I'd go back to my attic. I relate.
Nobody's written to me. No, if only he had gotten one letter. If only Phil was like, oh, this is for you, Ted.
Even just a bill or something.
Yeah.
But no, he was just mad about mail. Everyone's got their reasons, you know? And then he said about the night of the murder, everything would have been all right, and Phil Peters would have been alive today if he hadn't caught me robbing the icebox.
Oh, it's his fucking fault that you broke in and murdered him.
Phil was asking for it.
Yeah.
It was him or me. I thought he'd gone out, but he was taking a nap. I hit him with the stove shaker, which I've looked it up I cannot figure out what a stove shaker is. It's like a grate or something.
You shake the stove with it.
In my movie, it's going to be like a huge, like an iron statue.
Okay. Well, I like the kitchen angle though. Maybe it could be a cast iron skillet.
Okay.
I'm not. Listen, I'm like suddenly it's my movie too, but this is all you. I'm just.
No, I want to work with you.
Okay.
I want to collaborate.
All right. Let's keep with the. I think. That's
So
your
he hits him
favorite
with
thing
the skillet.
to work.
I don't know how, but.
What about the hot dish tray that he had gotten from me next door? It comes back around clunky.
She makes casseroles in a cast iron square that weighs 200 pounds.
Right.
Please return this when you're done, Phil. And don't break a bone.
Oh, Phil.
So I hit him with the stove cast iron skillet when he tried to run for help. When it was over, I ran to the attic. I was sitting on the trap door when you were pounding on it from below the night you found him. So they actually went and were like, what's this? And then we're like, oh, we can't open it. And probably so then that means it doesn't matter. All right.
Guys, follow through. Just everyone Life lesson. Follow through.
Follow through.
Spit.
Theodore Cummings, do we have any more pictures? Steven sent them. You might not.
There we go.
What is it?
Oh, it's a trapdoor house.
Ooh, oh yeah. This is the attic.
Look at that guy's 40s hair all greased up.
There's the light on the wire.
Look at that guy's grease using Dapper Dan in his hair.
This is some pee. There's his ironing board bed over there.
Man.
And, wow, that's depressing. Okay. He confessed, and he was convicted and sentenced to a life prison in the Colorado State Penitentiary. What if I pronounced Colorado wrong? He went in on November 18th, 1942, and he remained there for 23 years, and he eventually became the prison librarian.
All right.
I mean, he died in the prison hospital on May 16th, 1967, and the local press dubbed him the Spider-Man of Moncrief Place, which was the street he lived on, because when Detective Fred Zarna looked into the attic, which is probably that guy with the rad hair, he said a man would have to be a spider to stand it so long up in that place.
Whoa.
There's your story, everybody. That was fun. It was nice.
I cannot tell you how glad I am I don't have to follow that.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, right? It was great.
You gotta go to those old creepy ones.
I know. I never did the old creepy ones. I'm always like, here's a new one. It'll bum you the fuck out. Because it's recent. One of you are probably related to this person
It's
I'm talking
super
about.
real.
Yeah.
You're gonna hate it.
Yeah.
All right, should we do a hometown murder?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Hold on.
I feel like we have to pick the person not who's raising their hand, but who everyone around them is pointing at.
What's that?
We should pick the person not who's raising their hand, but who all their friends are going because they're like, this fucking girl won't stop
Good
talking
idea.
about
Okay,
her dead
there's one there.
grandma. Karen, what about her?
No, that's it. They've had enough.
I'm not
They've
allowed.
had enough time.
She doesn't let me.
Let's do you in the white shirt.
It's just become a rule that I don't get a pick.
Is Vince on the side? There he is.
Oh, there's Vince.
You have to go this way.
This one? She said, just turn it on. I don't know. I don't see a thing. Do you see
Just use the microphone the way it's supposed to be used.
Vince is here. I swear to gosh, there's no on switch on that thing. We are not just that. Hi! The husband did it! Look at her shirt. Her shirt says the husband did it. Can I have that?
You can't read.
Yeah, you can't read.
I have been using my college skills to cram. But I failed most of the tests when I did that, but maybe I can
Just remember
pass
it.
this one.
Just talk it out. You'll be fine. Wait,
So,
what's your name?
My name is Megan.
Hi, Megan.
Bleep it, Steven. Bleep it. Bleep
Oh,
it.
last name?
Uh-oh.
No,
You don't
really,
get
it's-
no
it's
one gets
fine.
to yell at Steven.
Yeah, that's our job. Where are you from?
I am from Ogden, Utah.
Great.
I trekked here with my cousin, Kara Elizabeth.
Hey, ladies.
She's been a fan from the beginning and said, you've got to listen to this podcast.
Good
And
job.
It's our
you.
thing.
Thank you. We owe you $20.
Between Ebola and my favorite murder, we're the weird ones in our Mormon family.
You have Ebola?
You have Ebola?
No, we like it. We
The
like
disease?
It. Yeah, we like to read about it and then pretend like we
What
have
does it
it.
do?
from
Does it just
somewhere.
deteriorate
It's
your-
bad shit.
Ooh, I love it.
Your eyes will bleed.
Okay.
But listen, if you survive 10 days, you're in the clear.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, tell the story.
Okay, so Ogden, Utah is, this is the really big time murder in Ogden. I'm going to brush over it because it's pretty grisly.
Great.
If you want to know more,
You're
more.
here.
Yeah.
We'll give you
Okay.
some links at the end of the
So
show.
my mother went to high school with the survivor of the Hi-Fi murders.
Oh, the
Ooh,
Hi-Fi murders are
I like it.
so fucked up.
It is
I've never heard of this.
I have written it.
Hi-Fi murders.
I have written it to do it, and then I'm
April
like,
24th,
Oh, sorry.
1970. I crammed, and to my
that's fucked
fourth
up.
grade teacher mother, who
Okay.
will listen to this at
Yeah.
a later date. I took a cookie today.
Uh-oh.
But that was at
she's
noon.
fucked up.
No, that was at noon. We have great video of me worried that Karen's going to yell at me.
Just
So
don't talk
I'm-
slow. That's all.
I'm talking.
Yeah, you
really,
got it.
Okay.
really fast.
Just
okay.
focus.
So,
Just focus.
1974.
Yeah.
We've got, I believe her name's Shelley Ainsley. She's 18 years old. She works with Stanley Walker. They are
Wow.
in the hi-fi shop that sells speakers, music. Total 1974 thing going on.
Yeah.
It's closing time. Little 16-year-old Courtney Naisbitt walks in and says, "Hey, thanks for letting me park in the parking lot while I had to run some errands." He's down there talking with these guys, and that's when these three bastards come in and try to kill these people. They tie them up, they dump Drano down their ears.
What?
And mouths.
What?
You meant and mouths.
Down their mouths and ears. They're just, the second that it touches their mouths, they're burned,
Oh
they're
my
blistered.
God.
And
Wait,
you're-
sorry, just right away?
right away.
Okay.
It's initially the guy that did it said that they wanted some good stuff, some
Right.
speakers and things. But then as they're in there and they've tied them up, he's like, "Hey, wait a minute, I got something in the car." So clearly he's got an idea what he wants.
Yeah, there's
They're
a little
like,
bit of pre-planning.
Let's keep torturing.
So, your 18-year-old doesn't come home from work. Your 16-year-old
Oh, yeah.
doesn't come home from running errands. So, of course, their parents come to find them and see, where are my children? Carol Naisbitt comes to find her 16-year-old son, goes down in the basement. She is tied, given Drano, and shot.
Same
and
thing
dies.
happens to her.
Yes.
This
Then
is why
we've
I
got
didn't do this murder.
Orrin Walker. He wants to find his son Stanley, who never came home from work. He comes down there. They tie him up and they kick a pin into
No,
his
I
ears.
don't want this part.
Into his ear, you say?
Yeah.
Okay.
This part I don't want.
But
Courtney,
keep going. You can't pause.
Courtney's beat.
Power through it.
Courtney's beat. In the end, these men decide they're going to just shoot everybody. Everybody dies except for Courtney Naisbitt. Now, this is some bad shit, clearly. But after weeks of investigation, they find the three guys that did it. They are put to death.
Yay.
They are executed, except for the getaway driver, who is out amongst us. And I've tried to Facebook the shit out of this guy, but I can't find him.
They were in the
But he
military.
claims he didn't know anything.
They were
Yeah.
all in the military, right?
They were. They all worked on Hill Air Force Base,
What the fuck?
which is, the central part of Utah. I mean, and they were stationed there. They said they needed money. Their pay sucked as military. And we do know our military needs to be supported a little bit more.
Yes.
Okay? Child of a serviceman. But anyway, Courtney has lifelong ailments from this.
Yeah.
He gets married. He has children. He graduates from college. He lived a full life, and he died last year.
Oh.
But I did think it was pretty damn amazing. He still went to high school. He still accomplished things, and of course, became an advocate for victims' rights.
Wow. That's amazing.
That's O-Town. That's O-Town.
Girl, you went there. I'm proud of you, Allie.
Oh my God!
Yeah, wait. Now
She
take
did
a second.
great.
Take it in. Take a second.
Yeah, everyone applaud.
Now,
Yay!
yeah. Look at her. Look at your girl.
This is hard to do.
It's very hard.
Especially with that story.
When you're high and that story?
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
I need a cookie.
No, I know.
Thanks, Colorado.
Now, do you have a song you want to sing?
If you want my body.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I need this shirt. I need that shirt.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, cousin. You were amazing.
Yes. That's how we do it.
Thank you.
What? I bet the odds of finding somebody in this audience that's not high would be very, very low.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sure.
Very low.
Yeah.
I think these days, I bet people just get up in the morning and they're just like, a boop, boop, boop,
Oh.
boop, boop.
Our Uber driver yesterday, this amazing, hippie chick who probably goes to Burning Man, we were talking about it. She works at a dispensary, and she was like, yeah, I have friends who wake up in the morning and have fucking weed butter on their toast.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, have toast and smoke some weed, though.
No, you fucking eat it, and then it like comes on slow, and then all of a sudden you're like just walking around at work, and you're like, fuck. Don't stop smiling, don't stop smiling, everything's chill. Just be chill. Someone asks a question, just say yes. Sit at your desk, put on your headphones. I didn't realize I had that song in me until right now.
That was gorgeous.
They know. They know.
That's your next song.
That might be.
Like how to deal with being high.
Can you, oh, I did that one already. Can you, you have to write it down for me after we're done.
Steven.
You guys.
This has been fucking awesome. This is the first weekend of our 2017 fall tour.
We are
what
kicking
a great
it
place
off.
to start.
Night 2.
Night 2. Colorado.
What a great fucking place to start this tour, seriously.
Yeah.
It's like, it's very touching. It's very lovely how much support we get from you guys and love. We really appreciate it, and we very much want you to stay sexy.
And don't get murdered!
Bye, you guys. Thank you.